be. Like, it's enhanced reading to me. So, yeah, it's great. Anybody else? Oh, like the old creative block.
Yes, maybe one of those doubt gremlins.
Yeah. Oh, they're there all the time. They're there all the time for sure. I mean, they're literally all the time. I don't get a block where I don't have any ideas, but I get a block where I don't have any good ideas. So I write a lot in the woods when I go running or hiking. I bring my phone, and obviously Siri, sometimes he's useless, sometimes he's not. But for me, I try and just I'll get up and do something else. Go for a run, go for a bike ride, do yoga or something. If I'm really stuck, I'll go do something that's seemingly menial, like washing dishes, whatever, doing laundry, cleaning, and I almost always get ideas that way. I think it's once you flip your brain off to that, if you're I need an idea, and then you're just forget it. Or gardening or something. I used to call it procrasta cleaning, procrasta baking. Oh, baking cookies. So something that seems like I'm procrastinating, it's just the energy, you're still creating, but in a different way. There's a creative energy behind it, baking or gardening or something that still things come up. And I think there's something about that gratification of cleaning where things look put away. Oh, and that's another thing. When I am creating, it's like a hurricane hit. And I had a conversation with a friend about this. When you're working, there's stuff and paint but after I'm done, I can't think unless I put it all away. It's like this clean slate. And I thought that, I didn't realize that's part of the ritual. And another friend just described it, that is in his mind, that's when he's done with a project, when everything's put away. So I have to do the same thing. So, but yeah, I haven't had that, the famed block where you just have nothing, but it's not, like I said, maybe not good ones. And the other thing that happens with the book is it's like putting puzzle pieces to make a story work. So I've had situations where it felt like a jigsaw puzzle and I didn't even know what the pieces were. And that's a frustrating feeling to get the pieces to fit together. So anyway. Well, yeah, it does, because I have to do it in this format and this format. I used to draw one this way and then draw it that way. So if I do that big cross thing, it's one drawing, one coloring operation, and then I cut it this way and cut it that way. It's like taking a photograph and just cropping it two different ways. But for years, I drew it both ways, not realizing. Or I would draw sort of that panel area and then sort of extend it out, kind of use that as the base and extend it out. But this, it's kind of all in one shot. And I also didn't have to color in two files too. So it helped a lot. Yeah, it's much quicker. And then I moved for the comic, I actually draw the comic still by hand. I did it digitally for a while, but I love hand drawing so much that when I migrated to do the books digitally, I kind of still wanted something traditional. And I do those travel sketches traditionally. I have this little MacGyver watercolor set that folds out, and it's really cool. It's tiny, and little tiny sketch pads, and I always bring them with me when I travel, so yeah. For sure. And it's funny because I used to do long distance events, triathlons and kind of running marathons. I've only done a few, but I can't do those things anymore because I already have a deadline. I can't have another deadline. You have to run this many miles today and you have to do this. I can't do that. So it is really intense and it's really tough. If I go, I'm going to be going on a trip in 2 weeks. So that means next week I've got to do double. And I used to be 6 months ahead on the comic, which was awesome until the books came along. And then there was not a chance. So now we have to be 3 weeks out for dailies and 6 weeks out for Sundays. So now I'm about a month ahead of that. So I think I just did Thanksgiving cartoons. And it's weird because when I used to be way ahead, I remember doing a school visit and I was working months out. It must have been, I think it was June or July, and I was like, oh, Halloween's right around the corner. And they're like, what are you talking? Because I had just done Halloween cartoons. My brain kind of hops in the calendar sometime. But yeah, it's really intense, and it's tricky because it really does rule your life. Because it's now you have a responsibility. So again, and then the other thing is, if you're sick or something major's happening in your life, you got to still do it. You have to be funny. So And you can't be funny for every single one. So sometimes things go out the door and you're like, oh, but okay, it's part of it. So yeah, it's intense. I can't believe I've done it for a decade. I did not think I was going to last 10 years. And I have friends who are, 30 years, 40 years. So it's really intense, but I love it. I mean, it's what I always wanted to do, and I really love it. And I think what's kind of cool about it too, it's like exercise. Like when I first got it, it would take me a week to do all 7. Now I can do them in a day. Like you get used to it and you get faster. I know, it's like, I can't like draw them in a day if I've written them, for a few days, but yeah, it's intense. So yeah, anyone else? All right, well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Thanks.